Hello, 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 debt-free degree beloveds. I am here with Pontification with the Pro. This is one of my favorite things to do because who I interview for this series are folks who have expertise that could positively impact you as you are on your quest for a debt-free degree. And I'm here with my new friend, Matt Dillingham. He and I met through a mutual connection, and what Matt has to share is so exciting. And so last week when we met, I said, will you please let me interview you for my debt free degree community. So, with that, Matt, welcome, welcome, welcome. And tell the folks just a little bit about you, and then we'll dive in.
Simple. I'm awesome, and I fight ninjas while helping people with their credit. That's it. Mic drop. Buy my stuff. That's it.
There we go. Okay, interview over. Goodbye.
Done.
Don't,
They're
don't
like, that
think
was
about
great.
that.
I'm gonna go buy his stuff. I don't know why. It sounds awesome. You're welcome.
Yes, 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 exactly,
Um,
exactly. Yeah, let's talk about this credit score. It's
ah,
interesting because I just talked to a mom the other day, and she was saying that they opted to. She was kind of. It was not somebody that was a client of mine. It was somebody that was asking me what do I do, and I told her, and she pushed back a little bit. Where I most often have the pushback, Matt, is parents who will say, I had my students take student loans because I want them to have skin in the game. So,
mhm.
we've talked a lot about skin in the game to earn a debt-free degree, like it's already there. So you don't really need that. Her take, and it was the first time I'd ever heard it, was she had her son do a $5,000 student loan because she wanted him to have good credit. And he was on it about credit. And then he noticed when he paid it off that his credit score went down. And
Yep.
so, can you just talk about credit, student loan debt, debt-free degree, and let's dive in.
There's a lot. There's a lot for credit. Okay, so to answer the first thing, some people think, and this credit needs to be taught. I'm glad he paid off the loan. It's a good thing. Okay, so yeah, when you pay off any installment account, it's going to be paid off. Number one. Number two, what happens is the algorithm is is acting like you actually close an account, so your score will drop initially, but will recover. Well, also what people don't also understand is that under that account, under all three bureaus, it'll say paid satisfactorily, which is a good thing. So when a human being looks at it, they're going to go, oh, okay, you paid it off. That's a good thing. So don't worry about it. So anyone that's listening to this, when you pay off a loan, you're like, my score job. Oh my God. I'm like, it's part of the process. It's not a bad thing. And then people think this credit thing is a scam. It's not. You have the power. The system does not work unless we borrow. And credit is over 5,000 years old. It's nothing new. It's just that you need to be taught different. We need to be taught how credit is, how money works. That way you can leverage it for the tool that it is instead of taking out a student loan or borrowing money on things that depreciate in value. And if you do consider a loan, you want to have a plan of strategy of how you're going to make this work. So that way, when you graduate, you can get the job you want with experience and have the money paid off versus just borrowing it and then thinking and believing you will get something and then you don't. And then here we are today with student loan crisis, which is predatory on the government's end. And then on the borrower's end, we're not taught this. And so here's where we are where people are like, I can't afford to pay these things back, which you can. You said, look, we have to look at other ways to make more money. And it does affect your credit, but you can change the situation. That's
Mm,
what people understand. They can change it. People have gotten out of debt. People pay mass amounts of debt, all sorts of things. Use as inspiration for yourself because you got yourself into it. You can get yourself out the hole. It's like if we couldn't do it, then people would get overweight and never lose weight, never be able to get in shape. There are people who were massively obese and they worked at it constantly, took them some time, years, and then now they're healthy again. Same thing with the debt. You
mhm.
can pay it down. You're gonna make some changes, sacrifices, but give yourself the um, short term rewards along with the long term, so you can pay this and see the end, and
Yes,
not just be like, oh my God, I have all this debt. It
yes,
don't matter.
yes,
You can still pay it
yeah,
back. You can still pay it down. Um,
yeah,
it's kind of my soapbox.
yeah.
I'm
Well,
also I'm also a certified life coach, so that's kicking in too right now. I'm just gonna go with it.
exactly. Well, that okay, so thankful. So yes, let's just go there because what you do is so brilliant that it's not only about the credit score, it's also the life coaching that you do. And
Yes.
so what you just laid out, yes, it might be a little bit of a niche of credit score, but then it expands to what does my mindset look like that got me into that debt, and what does the mindset look like that helps me repair it, because you're so empowering. You're not saying to somebody who is, there are a lot of people with student loan debt, that feel shame, like their head is
Yeah.
hung, and you're like, no, you throw those shoulders back. Okay, yes, we got in this debt. Perhaps it was not great thinking on your part. Perhaps it was very intentional, and the things you thought would be put in place for you paying it off, more than hopes and dreams, that, whatever it was didn't pan out. Perhaps you were kind of a little bit of a sheepish, where you were just like, well, everybody else is taking student loans, so I'll do it. And there wasn't a lot of intentionality behind it.
Yeah.
Regardless of how you got in the debt, Matt, what's so perfect about you and your life coaching is it's basically Glasser's reality theory. Where are you now? Where do you want to be? And how are we going to get there? And so talk a little bit more about that.
You know what? It's there's a book I'm reading currently. I'm reading like four different books because I'm getting back on trying to think different and leverage and think like a billionaire and things like that. The book I'm reading called it's called the the code of success something. I have a picture of it, but it's the secret code. No, the secret code to success by, forget the guy's name. I'll have to give it to you after we're done. But he mentions, and I know this, that affirmations don't work. I'm gonna come full circle here. Affirmations don't work. You want to ask questions, or using affirmations, which is asking questions, because you mentioned mindset, right?
Yeah.
The way our mind is, we're always asking questions. We're just not aware of it. And the thing about, you talk about mindset, right? Like, you ask the question, what's my mindset? That's a question. What were you thinking before the loan? What are you thinking now? But more importantly, what are the questions you're asking right now about where you're currently at? Because for a lot of people, they don't take a step back and go, wait a minute, what question am I asking? If you take just 10 minutes and write down what are the top five questions I've been asking about my life, you need to see this, and most likely it'll probably be, why is my life going this way? You may ask, like, maybe asking, why am I not so loved? How am I getting out of this debt? All these things, and you need to know, oh, that's what I've been asking on the in the back of my mind. What are some better questions I can ask? So to bring it to a landing, you want to start asking questions using affirmations, or another mentor told me, quantum questions, whereas you're asking the question, not taking an answer, but you're asking a question with what you want already happened. So, for example, okay, why is it that I'm getting new clients every day? You can use it for any business. Why is it I'm getting new clients every day for the debt-free degree? Why is it that I paid off my student loans so fast? Why is it that I'm so loved? What makes you so awesome? Why am I perfect just as I am, with or without the money? Why is it that I am perfect just as I am, for just being me? And again, you ask these questions, you're not looking for an answer. You're feeling the difference when you ask them. And the funny thing is you keep asking them. The reason why these work is because they bypass your conscious mind into the
Mhm.
unconscious, and because no one resists a question. Even if you read it, how are you today? You don't go, you go, I'm okay. Even if you lie, you're still answering it. Your mind can't resist the question. And when you ask this stuff, your unconscious mind kicks in and goes, wait, what? Why are we making so much money so wickedly? And the creative forces within you will start to bring things and start to look for the evidence of that question, and you will
Mhm.
immediately start. And the thing is, too, if you're aware, you will start to look for this stuff. And I've been doing it, asking it out loud. You're like,
So,
yeah, why do I have this? Why is it I'm so great? That you will start to look for it, and if you're
so Matt,
consistent with it,
I did not want to interrupt you because but I want to give you a pom pom, sir.
I'm
I
pumped.
wrote that down. I wrote that down for myself. So powerful. And I'm thinking, how would you phrase it for a debt free degree? Why is it I'm able to graduate with no debt? Why is it I'm able to graduate without student loans?
You can say that. You can say, why is it that I graduated with no student debt? You're putting what you want. It's already done. And the question,
Graduated. Gotcha.
yeah, yep.
Why is it? Love it.
Why did I graduate with no student loan debt? You know?
And then, okay. And so I'm not asking,
It's a fun exercise. You're gonna have a fun time,
yes,
and you
I
can use
am.
questions on anything money related. It's really more powerful when you use it on yourself. When you say, "Why is it I'm so loved? Why am I so? Why am I so awesome? Why is and this one's important. Why is it I am perfect just as I am? Because
Just
a lot
as
of
I
us, for so
am.
many of us, on an unconscious level, we think we're jacked up, stupid, or retarded on that level, and we think we have to be something else when it's like you are safe just as you are. And
Yes.
when you work on that, guess what happens? You're happier, your health improves, and also more money can flow in because if you believe you're not safe and that you don't deserve a lot, where you only make enough money to live. You won't make the amount of money you want to thrive because you don't believe you should have it. So it's about asking a question about why is it I'm safe as why is it okay for me to be me? Why is it safe for me to just be?
Wow. Beautiful.
So other question, and another one. Why is it okay for me to ask for what I want? Why is it okay for me to express myself? Why is it okay for me to receive what I want?
Yes. Love it.
Questions.
Love it. Love it. So is the book the is it Noah St. John?
Yeah, 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 that's the author.
Okay. All right. Excellent. Excellent.
He
Excellent.
talks about it in it's chapter 2 and
Yeah.
formations, but he
So
comes with
when
a lot of
you
questions.
like for me, I'm thinking about like for debt free degree club curriculum that this
Mhm.
now will be one of the lessons. And so for me to think about what does that look like for students to brainstorm it individually and then collectively, and that being part of the question is so that is so incredibly powerful. So one of my questions to you, Matt, is how is it that you like everything that you do is so much more broad and expansive than your background, your Zoom background that you have
Yeah,
right there. And so is that an intentionality? Because if you share with everybody A to Z your awesomeness, then it gets overwhelming and they have decision fatigue? Or is it like credit scores an easy thing that everybody recognizes, and then once you start talking to Matt, because that's what happened with me, is your good friend Aaron introduced us, and anybody Aaron introduced me to is going to be amazing, and I knew that. And so I just thought we were going to talk about credit score, and maybe I'd talk about debt free degree, and we'd have a nice little 30 minute.
yeah.
And then in that time, it was like your brilliance came out. And so I was like, oh, well, I need him to, be on pontification with a pro. And I realized we're very close to the end of our time. So I don't know if you want to answer that, but that's my experience with you. And so I don't know if other people are as well. I just think you're amazing. Absolutely.
Thank you. To answer your question, you got to start with one thing, and then everything else follows. It's like
Okay.
credit, something everyone knows about. They understand it. They know it's important. Start there, talk with them, see where they're at, and then say, "Hey, would you like to go deeper beyond the
Gotcha.
math, beyond the score, and get the root cause of what's going on?" Because one thing I've been doing lately, and which I was doing was I was giving readings to people on like money and stuff, and I've been pretty on point with how people are getting their own way, engaging self-sabotage that's getting in the way of them making the money they want. And so this is something with me where, hey, if you're open to it, we can go deep and say, well, you're in debt, but what's going to stop you from making the money you want to get out of it?
Yeah.
Because part of you, believe it or not, is comfortable with where you're at because it's identified because you get some sort of benefit. So it logically thinks, wait a minute, if I'm not this person who's in debt and struggling and gets attention,
Mm,
what am I going to be if I
yeah.
don't have it? And that
Yeah.
can scare us on a deeper
Yeah.
level. That's what we got to address.
Yeah. Like I said, you're amazing and you're brilliant. I am so
Thank you.
delighted that Aaron connected us. I am so excited for my debt free degree community to have access to this. And I hope that I ultimately my company is called Love Revolution, and our mission is teaching 8 billion people to love 8 billion people one heart at a time. So one aspect is love yourself enough so you graduate fully debt free from college. And what you're sharing, Matt, is revolutionary. My favorite quote by Martin Luther King is, a social movement that moves merely people is a revolt. but a social movement that transforms both people and institutions is a revolution.
Yep.
What you're doing is revolutionary, Matt.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. As y'all know, I could talk to most people for a while, but I think Matt and I could talk for about 8 hours.
Yeah.
And so, this is just a little snippet. And so, thank you for being interested in Pontification with the Pro, and particularly for the amazing services that Matt offers. And until next time, y'all, I appreciate y'all. Thank you.